Salam.
Salam alaikum.
We have some guests here today. We have, of course, my ever-reliable Henrik, the co-host, but two guests from Kyrgyzstan.
We are making a record for the podcast on the amount of guests we have in one episode.
Yeah, next time 8 guests. So we have Kenny. Hi.
Yes.
Kenny is in New York City at the moment, or New York area. How would you say it? New York City, right? Yes. And then we have a Baiaman.
Mm-hmm.
And you are connecting from Russia.
Yes.
Siberia, so we're all around the world basically. So the time zones go like this, that now it's a little bit over 7 p.m. in Warsaw. In Helsinki for Henrik it's going to be over 8 p.m. and for you guys I'm not even sure anymore, but yeah, there's like a 7 hours difference to Helsinki for New York City, and maybe something similar to Siberia.
Yeah, it's midnight here.
Yeah. So this is kind of the king of all clusterfucks that we are going through here.
Exactly right.
This is really pushing the limits of what we can do with our guests.
we are pushing our luck in more ways than one, so to say.
All right, let's start with our guests for tonight. So, Kenny, what's your story? Why are you in New York City?
For now, I'm just here to see some things, right, and exchange some experience, learn something. That's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm. Where are you from in Kyrgyzstan?
I am originally from Kyrgyzstan, from the south, from Alabuka, that's a little village.
And you left your home country about 10 years ago, if I understand correctly?
Yes, sir. I went to school, I graduated college, and then I moved to New York.
What did you study?
I have studied computer science.
And how old are you now?
I am 31 now.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm also 33, so in the same ballpark.
Yes, sir. Same generation.
And you're aching to go back to your home country at some point, since you haven't been there in 10 years?
Yes, I am. Very soon. I'm trying to close out the journey.
So you will still come back to New York, or you think that's it?
It's hard to say for sure, but most likely not. Most likely I'll be back for good.
All right. Sounds exciting.
Brave decisions, I must confess.
Yes, it is. It is a decision, right? It is a decision. I invest a lot of times over here also, right? Like culture, the language, the work, everything else. But at the same time, I have to give it back to the country, right? So that's my thinking right now.
That's great.
That's a nice sentiment. I always support and encourage this kind of giving back thinking.
Yeah, yes, exactly, right? Like, especially now with the technology that I could do the same thing right at the mountains, setting up my horseback.
You said to me before we started recording that you are making wedding videos.
Yes, sir.
Now, for a living.
Yes.
And I'm really excited to picture in my head you riding on horseback, making those same videos with a camera equipment.
Yes, it will be great.
I'm sure.
Not only weddings are special technology now, like you can become a software developer, engineer, project manager, anything almost. You can study, right? Like especially, where we're gonna watch this movie, you can see that has not been a connection like this before, right? So now it's probably the time we can use to our advantage.
I'm sure that with all your experience that you've gathered in the States, you might have some new opportunities in Kyrgyzstan.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, hopefully.
Then we have, of course, the other guest from Kyrgyzstan, Baiaman, who is living currently in Siberia. Welcome to the podcast as well. What's your story? How did you end up in Siberia?
Thank you. I am 20 years old and I currently study at university in Russia and work part-time as a developer, and I study software development. I'm here for 3 years and I had the chance to get a good scholarship, and so I'm here. And every year I visit Kyrgyzstan.
Okay. And from which area in Kyrgyzstan are you from?
From south part.
Okay, so you don't have, of course you visit every year, so you don't get that much homesickness perhaps than Kenny, who takes 10-year gaps.
Yeah.
Time works different in your guys.
Software developer in Siberia, like that's hardcore.
Right? But I heard that in Siberia, in Russia, there is some like Silicon Valley type of place that is growing right now.
Yes, here education is good and there's a lot of job opportunities.
Probably 80% of the Kyrgyz people speak Russian. So do you guys speak also fully Russian?
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, I speak Russian, but I'm learning it currently. It's been 3 years that I started learning Russian.
Okay. I'm Finnish like my co-host, but I live currently in Poland. I've tried to study some Polish, kind of a Slavic brother language.
Yeah.
I can understand some Russian. That just happens when you know some Slavic language a bit.
Right. Very similar, yeah.
In which part of Siberia are you currently?
It's considered as center, the city called Krasnoyarsk.
Ah, okay. Maybe we can talk a little bit about Kyrgyzstan as a country. Let's try to go over this quick because we have so much to cover, but feel free to drop in and interrupt me if I say something stupid or if you want to add something.
Mm-hmm.
So, Kyrgyzstan. The earliest inhabitants or settlers of Kyrgyzstan were the Scythians, the Eurasian nomads. After that, there was the Mongol Empire starting from 1207. In the 17th century, the Kyrgyz tribes were overrun by the Mongols. In 18th century, they were overrun by the Chinese, and in the 19th century, they were overrun by the Uzbeks. In the 19th century, in the Qing dynasty China handed over Kyrgyzstan to the Russians under the Treaty of Tarbagadai, and it was kind of a border protocol aimed to establish the borders between the two countries more clearly. Kyrgyz revolted and fought back against the Russian Empire, including in the 1916 rebellion, and as a result, many of the Kyrgyz people relocated to, for example, Afghanistan, and there was a mass exodus to China which supported the rebellion. And in 1919, Russia established the Kyrgyz Oblast, and in 1936, the Kyrgyz Soviet Socialist Republic was established in the Soviet Union. Unfortunately, the economic realities worked against a secession from the USSR in the 90s. Almost 89% of voters voted to stay in the renewed type of federation, whatever that actually would contain, I'm not sure, with the USSR. However, the forces of the democratic movement made Kyrgyzstan an independent nation in August 1991. Sadly, some problems have been persisting. There's been some political corruption, there's been some demonstrations and ethnic clashes. For whatever reason, these started to erupt. In the 2010s, there were some violent confrontations between the Uzbeks and the Kyrgyz people. There is still several Russian-controlled facilities remaining in Kyrgyzstan, I understand.
There's no denying that there's a corruption, right? But it's just still the same thing since the independence. As you can see, that independence happened, but the people on top, in my opinion, right? Like, I'm not a historian, I'm not a politician, but it's the same people has been changing over. But we had two revolution, like take over the president, tried to. But as you say, the Russian influence and from the Soviet Union, the mentality of those generation, it's still the same. The infrastructure after the USSR collapse, it has been destroyed. All the connected dots has stopped, and it's been pretty tough times, also pretty good times, right? We could focus on the corruption, but at the same time you can get away. I'm saying, like, you can get by without the corruption.
Yeah.
But corruption has been sink into the deep roots of the politics.
Do you think the situation economically, for example, is better or worse after the USSR?
It's hard to tell because it's still new, right? It's still like a Baiaman age, I would say, as a country, right? it's still learning. We as you can see, we going all over the world to go there and then take the good stuff and then leave the bad stuff that we have, right? Like we have. That's what's happening right now. But economically, it's hard to tell. I have no idea how to fix this, right? Like, but
yeah.
When we talk about this information corruption, Kyrgyzstan is not actually unique.
Yeah.
There's another countries in Central Asia that has identical political situation.
I've heard that Kyrgyzstan is extremely safe and extremely comfortable for travelers. So
yes, we are trying to change. We are trying to step aside. Like one president can't be elected twice, and the country is trying to become more for tourism.
Yeah.
And yes, we're making progress in it, I believe.
Yeah, let's hope it works out. The population is kind of similar to Finland, where me and my co-host are coming from. So it's about 6.3 or 6.4 million people. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Finland is 5.4 million.
Right.
The population, the ethnic groups go like this. It's 73.5 Kyrgyz people, then there's 14.7 Uzbek people, 5.5 Russian, and then 1.1 Dongan, and then some others. Islam is the biggest religion, 82%, 16% Christianity.
I can tell you about social problems.
Yeah, go ahead. Sure.
There is a huge problem like bride kidnapping.
Oh, I read about that.
Yes, many foreigners know about Kyrgyzstan that we are practicing bride kidnapping.
Alakachu.
Yes.
Yes. It became illegal, but in rural areas, it's still practicing.
Yeah, I understand there's kind of like two forms of it, right? So there is the form which is consensual elopement with your bride, and then there is the non-consensual, like actual real kidnapping.
Yeah. My sister has been married the same way.
Okay.
My own sister, like in this age.
What's the situation now? Are they happily?
They're living good. They have kids. They're happy. They don't want no America. They don't want no Europe. They're living pretty good.
Okay.
So yeah, like a lot of stuff is out of proportion, I believe, but at the same time, there is some truth to it for sure. Especially kidnapping, the corruption, violence, those stuff. But it takes time, I believe.
Probably important to note that Kyrgyzstan has been listed as the 9th poorest country in the former Soviet Union, so that of course brings corruption naturally with it. So I understand that. And let's talk about the geography super quick. So it's a very mountainous country.
Yeah.
And due to that, there's the transportation or the roads are kind of constrained by the topography, so you have to snake up with the roads through different kinds of altitudes, cross passes, and there's a risk of avalanche, and you can probably tell me more about that. Have you had some nasty experiences on the roads, or?
Yeah, there's a road called Beshkempir that connects two biggest cities in Kyrgyzstan, and it takes 10 hours to get to Bishkek from Osh, and it's really hard to get there.
Wow.
And airplane is not common, so people used to get to Bishkek by taxi, and there's a lot of tunnels, there's a lot of mountains, and it's hard. It's actually hard, really.
So it's popular to travel by taxi. It's maybe considered like we would consider a bus in Europe.
Yeah.
There's a big cars with 4 seats, and it's called taxi.
Yeah, I've used that kind of taxis in Morocco, I believe. Maybe something similar.
Yeah.
And in the winter, it's basically impossible to reach some places via the roads, right?
No, it depends, right? Like, the roads are. It's a mountain. Like you can see, it's 94 or whatever the percent is. It's high percentage. All of them are mountains. to build the roads, probably it takes a lot of money, but the roads has been for ages that people have been using like horses, right? As the Baiaman said, in rural areas. But inner cities, we can get by with the cars. It's not great, but people doing it.
And train is not practical. The train line is not long anyway.
Yeah.
I think there is, right? There has been. I heard that they try to open up again, connecting from south to north by train, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, all right. And about etymology, so the Kyrgyz in the Kyrgyzstan is believed to have been derived from the Turkic word for 40. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And this refers to the 40 clans of Manas. This was a legendary hero who apparently united 40 regional clans against the Uyghurs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, that's the Kyrgyzstan part from my part. Anything to add, or should we go to scene by scene of our film of the night?
We can go.
Perfect. Henrik, I would believe that this is the first time that you have seen this film.
It is, and it's my first Kyrgyz film altogether.
Mm-hmm, great.
And stop playing Fallout 2, Henrik. I can see your status as playing Fallout 2 in Discord.
What? The goddamn Discord ratted me out.
Yeah, but and you, my Kyrgyz friends, you have seen this before.
Yes.
When I was a child.
Yeah. Would you consider this some kind of a national treasure for you guys?
No, I wouldn't say. I would say great artistic work from the director, right? But as a treasure, nah.
What do you think is the most famous Kyrgyz film inside Kyrgyzstan?
I think it's Kurmanjan Datta.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
Yes. It's about a woman who ruled Kyrgyzstan. Part of Kyrgyzstan, maybe.
When the Russians came into the Kyrgyz.
What do you think is the most famous Kyrgyz film worldwide? Would it be The Adopted Son or something else?
Yeah, I think Kurmanjan Datta, which is about the woman became a ruler, Datka, which means like a governor or something like that. When the Russians came in, she had to make a decisions, very, very major. I think that movie probably most recent and more famous.
All right, here we go. So the film kicks in with the adoption ceremony. This scene is in color, and many seemingly kind of random scenes in the film are in color. But one thing I noted through the film is that it appears that the scenes which are in color are specifically happy moments in the story.
That they are, and in my kind of a take on those scenes was that they also, not only were they the kind of the happy moments, like the blessing of your son or catching the glimpse of that special someone, but they were also moments that were tied with things that often are coded with femininity, like the bird and the scarf and that necklace, which was made out of fabric, and the grandma giving the money for the movie ticket. While the scenes that were shared with kind of a masculine themes were often, first of all, they were all black and white, but they were also often quite hierarchical, like the father and, or the discourse between the father and the son, or the boys group who had this one boy was kind of the leader. And sometimes they were kind of even aggressive, like that scene where one of the kids is being pushed into the mud pit, or the fist fights that happen in the course of the movie.
Good point, yeah. And immediately after this, the kind of a decade or so has passed, and there is the cutting of hair of our main character, Beshkempir. And we cut from this immediately to a scene where the father of Beshkempir is cutting the branches of trees. So is there some kind of symbolism going on here? Do you find anything related in this? Yeah.
That's a good detail though. Very good detail.
Yeah, maybe there's nothing special to it. I just noticed that in both cases they are cutting something.
It could be just a transition. But the cutting of hair it used to be like that. But I believe this movie represents more of a 1980s probably.
Okay, so you don't have this kind of haircuts anymore in Kyrgyzstan.
No, but I used to have that. I used to, my oldest one used to cut like this when I was in the mountains, right?
You can find it in Mongolian people, and it's children haircut. It's not common for adults.
Right.
Especially in Soviet Union, there used to be some kind of a trend. You're talking about the forehead, it has a little hair and there's no other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this device that is used for cutting the hair, this is also new to me. Maybe it's normal for you guys.
No, I have never seen this device.
Okay. And I also noted that the trees are half white. So have they been painted? What do you think? Or is it just the type of tree that we're looking at?
Oh, it's for the I think anti-bugs, or
Ah, okay, yeah. And then the mother is, I have no idea what the mother is doing in the next scene, but making something with the mud and then attaching these mud pies to the wall. Can you please enlighten me what is going on?
Yeah.
It is feces, excrements of cow.
Oh.
And they are used for making fire, for maybe cooking.
Heat for the winter, right?
I have been told that they're good, actually. You can replace it with wood.
Ah, so it keeps the flat warmer?
Yeah, winter time, yeah.
Oh, how interesting.
Yeah.
This is why we have guests. I would have never thought about that.
Yes, it's a primitive way to have a heat, right?
And then the kids cover themselves in cold mud. Is this then some protection against the bees? I suppose so.
They were just playing, just kids, right? Just running around and playing on the mud. And then they definitely jump into the water because of our bees.
And the star of the night here is Mirlan Abdykalykov, or something like that. Maybe you can pronounce it correctly.
You do, right?
Okay. This is the director's son in the lead role. He also did some acting in the Chimp film. This is a film that completes the director's so-called childhood trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
So the director is Aktan Abdykalykov. The story of tonight's film is somehow connected to a similar storyline in an Indian film called Pather Panchali from 1955. The film is kind of a representative of the first wave of independently produced cinema in the country after the independence from the Soviet Union. The director is Kyrgyz screenwriter, actor, director, painter, graduated from Bishkek Institute of Arts, worked his way up from 1981 from assistant to director. In 1993 he began a trilogy on childhood-related films. The first one was called Swing. He received the grand prize at Potsdam Festival for that. And the second film was The Adopted Son. And the third film was The Chimp from 2001, as mentioned. And the director is an adopted child himself. So this might have been a really personal project for him.
Yeah.
In 2003, he decided to associate his biological father, Arym, and his adoptive father, Kubat, in his name. And thus, he is nowadays known as Atkan Arym Kubat.
Mm-hmm.
And his style is kind of a realistic, with minimal staging, and works mostly with non-professional actors.
Mm-hmm.
And the mood of his films is kind of a peaceful and slow in tone.
Yes.
Perhaps the thematics are abstract and the imagery is distinguishable.
Mm-hmm.
The director is still directing. Last directing job was Centaur from 2017.
I have no idea what is he doing, but I agree with you with almost everything that you said. I think it could most likely it's his childhood. It's his
right, yeah,
life story. I was watching it yesterday. Like it's slow paced and very quiet, like almost like meditative state.
Yeah.
But like I've been in New York, so it's been a long time. Like we fast over here. Like everything is fast. You're thinking fast. You're moving fast. You're talking fast. Everything is fast, right?
Yeah.
But I do remember that the lifestyle we as a Kyrgyz people, we live like that. We just wander around, sit on the top of the mountain, right? Like take it slow, but also very his father. Like my father was also like that, like him, right? Cool, calm, and doesn't share like emotions. So it is very much like a true story. It seems. But for now, what is it doing? I have no idea.
Yeah, I find beauty in that slow style of living. Would love to visit Kyrgyzstan at some point.
You should definitely.
I will.
You're going there for that, right? Like for meditation moment. I think.
Right.
I tell everyone, you're not going there to see a megapolis city or civilization or technology, for sure.
Yeah, but maybe in like Bishkek, right? The life is a little bit busier than in the rest of the country.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So the beehive scene, they're trying to do something with the beehive, but doesn't seem like they're after honey because the attempt would not lead anywhere except being stung. And they run back to mud bath, remove clothes, go into hiding in mud bath because the town hottie, Ainura, or however you pronounce that. How do you say this lady's
Ainura,
name? Ainura.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I was wondering why this piece of cloth in the mud pool is now in color, but related to the girl, perhaps.
I think your friend said it right. I think it's indication of some kind of a new life, right? It's whenever at the beginning of the movie, also color where the kid Beshkempir is getting adopted.
Yeah,
and then again when the girl we see that's when it's like in my opinion, it's just the Beshkempir getting a new sort of transition.
Yeah, the actor of Ainura is Albina Imasheva. Basically, I have nothing about her history except that she has 5 credits of different kinds of being in different kinds of films, and the rest of the people, I believe, are just from this village, and they seem to have no credits outside of this film. And yeah, she's still active, it seems.
This is once again one of those moments where I guess the one with most credits behind his name is the cinematographer Ghazan Kuduraliev, or however you pronounce it. I'm terrible with pronunciation of names.
Yeah, I actually paid attention to the same guy. He was actually part of the camera and electrical department for Mongol, The Rise to Power, directed by Sergei Bodrov. And we checked out one of this legendary director's works in the podcast that was Prisoner of the Mountains. And also he was the DP for another film called Shizo, or The Recruiter. It's about a boxer boy. And Henrik, what are your findings?
Well, I did run across this action thriller film from 2011 called The Liquidator, which is being directed by Aktan Satayev, but it's once again it's those weird collaboration movies where there is some Western kind of more well-known name actors brought into the project. This time the main headliner would be Vinnie Jones from the UK crime movies.
Okay. Beshkempir is then washing himself, and he's using this kind of a contraption to wash himself, which I have never used in my life, but...
Yeah, it's a... when in villages, there was no water infrastructure, right?
Right.
It doesn't come to our taps. You bring water from river, right? And use it as a sink.
Yeah. Is this still like very prevalent way of life in Kyrgyzstan? Do you feel in the rural areas that we see in the film?
Yeah.
Not fully, but partly, yes.
Partly, for sure.
Like haircuts and cutting trees and making excrement stuff, it's practicing in our times. It's real, actually.
Yeah, so you could say that I can go to Kyrgyzstan and find this kind of way of life somewhere there.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. Almost everything.
You should try hard to find it.
And there's a really weird superimposed image of what looks like a mirror, With the background out of focus, honestly, I don't understand what I'm supposed to be looking at, but I guess it's supposed to be a mirror, and then Beshkempir is getting shouted at by his father. One time of many. This is at 1538.
Yeah, I see.
It was just superimposed there somehow digitally for some reason. Before the father arrives, at 1540.
Yes.
And then the older boy is using Beshkempir as an intermediary or a messenger for the girl, Janel. I was wondering why. Yeah. Why do you need an intermediary to connect with the girl? Can't you just go directly to the girl, or is the guy afraid of the family dynamics?
Yeah. Girl's brother is gonna beat you up, right?
Right.
Yeah. Usually the case is that the guy who wants to take the girl out is a bit afraid to show up on the girl's doorstep. And that is the reason for all these intermediaries that are being used.
Yeah.
It is something that every now and then, especially with younger men, appears also in Finland.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I think it's everywhere. If it's in America, right? Like different way, but it's the same.
There are some things in this film which I think are pretty universal, and this would most definitely be one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Because men will always kind of be afraid of girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, only on the second watch I realized another thing in this scene, that the girl Janel said it's embarrassing to be in the front of the bike, not because it feels awkward that she like that she would feel uncomfortable on the bike. It's not about the bike, but the fact that she would be in a more intimate touch with the guy, right?
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, look, we mostly is a family oriented, right? Like everyone, people have kids, more than 3, 4, right? So it has always been a more conservative, especially those times at the Soviet Union. You can see the address and everything. So it's more of a conservative, and she's more uncomfortable.
Yeah, we in Finland come from a country that basically doesn't have a lot of these even politeness levels for different groups of people. In my opinion, it's very informal country nowadays.
Yeah.
So I have to spend a little moment to actually perhaps understand these kind of things that I'm looking at in the Adopted Son today.
That's great.
It's not always for the best. Definitely, we could be more formal in some situations.
I think it's the way to go, right? Like, especially now, right? Like, the West is going crazy. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, all these rights and crazy people from feminist side and men's side and all that stuff. But essence is the same. It's just the respect, and they have their own like way of bringing up what is limited and what's not limited.
Yeah, I guess as long as there is the respect found.
Yeah, I think that has been a very, very polarizing thing for me, especially like experience, right? Like the way you approach to a woman
in the US.
In US or in Russia, perhaps. You know how it is in Europe, right? It's the same way, but
yeah, pretty straightforward, at least in my view.
Yes, at the same time, I see it now. You're more straightforward. At the same time, this is not really straightforward. You gotta play games, right?
Yeah, the kind of the social games you have to.
Yeah, all I'm trying to say is that instead of she sitting on the back of the bike in West would be more like she wants to say like, we're gonna go to dinner first, and then we're going to your room or something like that. You know what I'm saying? It has to be something like easy up to your connection.
Yeah, that it's easier to hook up or something.
Yeah, but you saw the second time when he came, she, without the backseat, she actually sat in front.
True, yeah. They were getting closer.
Yeah.
And then there is the scene of watching the breasts of this particular woman. Leeches are attached to the body.
Yeah.
Then the dog goes berserk and the boys escape. One guy tries to steal eggs and gets eggified.
Yeah.
I suppose all these actors are inexperienced completely. But I don't know if that's bothering you. Do you feel that the acting is good or bad? Because for me it's hard to say because I haven't met any Kyrgyz people in person.
I think it's exactly as it should be. I liked it. I have lived the exact same thing. We have done the same exact thing.
All right.
It's cool to see that, to hear that these are not professionals. If you can tell it, it's amazing to me because I couldn't.
I can say that acting of Beshkempir is pretty good.
Yeah, right. You see,
when you compare to other kids, he's really good.
Yeah, I think it's really good, and explains why the director is willing to work with non-professional actors all the time. Maybe it's kind of his specialty, you know, to deal with kid actors very well.
Yeah.
Then we have the scene that you mentioned, Kenny, fucking the sand.
Yeah.
So the cows are also walking then over the boobs, but before that they have some sexy time with sand. So can you find anything especially symbolic here?
Symbolic in terms of what?
I don't know.
It's the teenage girls, right? Like teenage girls. I mean, teenage boys do interesting. They saw the lady right through the sheet, so like they're curious teenage boys.
Right.
Yeah, I neither wouldn't say that there's any kind of Kyrgyz aspect to this scene.
Yeah.
Because this is something that I have seen in other films. To give you a direct example, for example, Wes Anderson's movie The Master, which is an American film, it has more or less kind of the same type of a scenario where it's in that film it's a grown-up man, a soldier who is waiting to be transported to home. Because the last days he's going to be a soldier, he's on a beach and he does the same stunt. And to me, because this is something that repeats in other movies also, to me it's kind of reads as a universal thing.
Yeah.
Like making lewd female body images out of sand is something that men and boys maybe do all over the world whenever they are bored and they happen to be on a beach.
Yeah,
I was more looking for something in the cows, if there would be something to that in the culture, but perhaps not. So carrying on.
I think
Yeah, in here it's the kids playing. In The Master, it's more of a statement of boredom and frustration on the character's part in that film.
I think the director has been paying, like, he wanted to show more of what is day-to-day as a Kyrgyz people don't really pay attention about it for other, especially, right, like this guy has been working, this movie has been sponsored by some French corporation or something, right? So I assume that they pull these kind of little bit intriguing parts just to give some kind of an intrigue, I think.
Yeah, there is a French guy connected to the film very much. He's also in the special thanks of the ending credits of the film called Joel Sapron, born in Paris in 1960. He's kind of specializing in cinematography in the Central and Eastern Europe and has helped out in the production of several former Soviet Union countries' films. So by occupation, he's a cinematographer.
Wow.
And yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right.
Then we get to watching the Hindi film scene.
Oh, yeah.
And Baiaman, is this something that happens in the countryside, that you get a projector and start a Hindi film rolling?
In my age, no, because I'm only 20 years old. But my fathers used to tell me that this really happened, that they will be crowded like this and watch movie. Nowadays, everyone has TV, and it's obvious that it's not quite popular nowadays.
It's kind of a romanticized view of the life in the countryside in the film, I suppose. Kenny, maybe you have experience with projectors in the countryside.
It used to be like that, but before the TV came in. But yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It was a phenomena in
nice.
villages.
it used to be like that in Finland also, when the first steps in the cinema business came to Finland. Like the first occasions where you could see movies in Finland, of course, this was way back when, but still, this is something that happened in Finland also. Yeah. These makeshift movie theaters and traveling movie theaters.
And then Henrik was just forced to curse about the Finnish movie theaters' prices for tickets because they are astonishing.
They were cheaper back in that day.
They were. I remember it was like 30 Finnish marks at the time to go to a cinema, and whatever that was then, like €5 or whatever. Now it's 13 euros if memory serves, so 15.
Ooh. I don't know what is the max you have to pay in Finland.
Yeah, of course salaries have gone up, but it's still really expensive for people.
But before anyone gets any wrong impressions out of the cinema complexes in Finland and the tradition of cinema in Finland, I have to point it out that the time period I mentioned, the traveling showmen and these makeshift movie theaters, it was before Karri was born.
Yeah.
But it's still history that our tradition of having film showings,
right?
The movie theater business, it has its foothold, it has its starting point in this similar kind of tradition.
Yeah.
A history of which Henrik was a part of because he was born a month before me, so he is much more experienced in life.
Great. He's an old man.
Yeah.
I did wrote an essay about the subject matter some years ago.
About your ancientness?
About my ancientness.
Great. I don't know, man. Finland has some crazy history. Maybe you're some kind of a Dracula or something.
I did start my essay from the moment when God created the earth.
Okay, that's a long story, but yeah, I get you.
And then Beshkempir is trying to have some fun with his penis, and Bert interrupts this moment because he crashes into the window.
Yeah.
What's this bird called? Do you know this bird?
Oh, I forgot the name, but I definitely know. I've played the exact same way. But it's in those areas for sure, and we used to see those.
Okay. Oh, when it comes to birds, actually, in this film, there is a lot of bird sounds in the soundtrack that are birds that appear in Finland as well.
Great.
And it was really pleasant at moments to listen to just the birds in the background.
Most likely they are international. They can go around. I'm pretty sure it's they don't need a visa. So
yeah, there's that.
But that scene was very touching for me, especially. Like I've seen that. You see, when the bird comes in, you'll see the window.
Yeah.
Right. There is a white small krut, what we call it. You see that? It made from milk. So make it dry. It serves as a snack.
The charmer guy is back. He wants to get back to his lady, and he removes the back rack of the bike. And the back rack is being removed in this movie. Is it twice or 3 times? Beshkempir's friends get jealous over Ainura.
Yeah.
They're trying to guess a film starting with the letter S. And there's also a reference to the Indian film Sangam.
Yeah.
Is this something that everybody knows in Kyrgyzstan?
No, I don't think so. I think it could have been just that movie recently they saw.
Yeah, they're just filmaholics, just like Henrik.
Yeah.
Then the friend reveals to Beshkempir that Beshkempir is a foundling or orphan.
Yeah.
Asks grandmother if he indeed is an orphan. Grandmother says, no, that's not the case. And then we get to some cultural stuff once again. There's the dropping of seeds on a mattress.
You make a bread, so it's the cleaning out, the separating from the grains, right? That's all it is. You throw it in the air, so air pushes the lighter leaves, and the seed drops it itself. So they used to do that.
Yeah, it's not a tradition in Finland anymore, but in Finland that is jyvät ja akanat.
it looks like the mothers are bickering over whose son is the least well behaved, and surprisingly, the mother is being completely terrible to the mother of Beshkempir, kind of agreeing with her son that it's okay to talk about the adoption that openly and before the adoptive parents have even spoken about it. So Beshkempir's mother leaves the scene.
Yeah.
Then is it Beshkempir and his friends trying to sneak into someone's house? I'm not sure what is actually happening here. It's at 51 minutes. So at night time. No, it's the friend of Beshkempir.
Yeah, he just runs after his friend who beat Beshkempir up in a couple of scenes ago, and this is simply, Beshkempir getting his revenge and running after his friend after friend tries to escape.
Oh yeah, it's Beshkempir because I totally didn't.
Oh, he's getting back at the kid. Like 3 guys, he beat him up.
Yep.
Right, and then the mother comes to the scene, and now it makes sense. The father is trying to put up a door sheet or some kind of a mosquito repellent, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly.
Neighbor mother comes to complain about how Beshkempir has beaten up his son, and mother of Beshkempir defends his son. So that's pretty much it, and then Beshkempir runs away to help a fisherman at the river, kind of avoiding his family at this point, because out of shame or more like just avoiding these situations.
Yeah.
Well, Beshkempir himself has just gotten the confirmation for the fact that he has been adopted. Up until this point, the claim has been made, but Beshkempir's parents have not yet actually given the confirmation that the rumors hold true.
Yeah.
But now the confirmation is being given, and Beshkempir has to accept that what has been said is the fact. And once again, since I've been made the mention of the universal themes, this is kind of once again a universal theme of the taboo of adoption and the image that adoption somehow is a bad thing. The adoption as a plot point is something that also, for example, American movies use quite often, where whenever a character needs to have a shocking revelation, it's revealed that he or she is adopted.
Yes.
And usually that is also in American films, that is being portrayed as a negative. Like that is bad news. That is something that is almost catastrophic to the character.
Yeah.
However, in this scene, it's nowhere mentioned that he's adopted, but he just flees the scene.
It's because I think he was just the... Look, you cannot fight with your father.
Yeah.
Right? Regardless of what it is. You can only take a break, take a time. It's like a couple, right? Like you just don't talk to a little bit, and then you understand. That's what he did. He was just mad at his father, and he just went away and then did fishing.
Right, yeah.
I've had the same things in my childhood.
Then there's the fishing scene. I gotta try that way of fishing when I get to my summer house. And a kid is following Beshkempir and locates him finally, and then looks like it's the father of Beshkempir who comes to collect him from the river. And he hears that the grandmother is not doing too well, so he has to hurry back home. And being ill turns into being, dead. And I think this is the first moment in the film when we see a yurt. Yeah, yurt. That's nice. Have you guys been in a yurt?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Everyone has it.
This is supposed to be kind of a mobile way of living in the wild, but it doesn't appear very mobile to me, to be completely honest. And it's not something that you can just put on a couple of horses' backs or...
You do actually, right? Like you see, most of the movie, its whole tradition is about that. I think it's all Kyrgyz traditions and character, and everything comes from that, moving around as a nomad.
Yeah, Karri, you're kind of a bit shaming your military background here.
Yeah.
At this point, you're forgetting who you are, and you're forgetting puolijoukkuetta.
Yes.
Totally not the same thing.
It actually is quite a lot of the same thing.
Yeah.
This is very much like the squad tents that are used in Finnish army.
Have you ever packed a yurt?
No, but
Yeah.
I have
rest my case.
I have packed the squad tents.
Which is like terrible in its design. Like it weighs at least 10 kilograms more than it should.
It is actually, it's quite remarkable in its design.
Considering for what the purpose is, that you're supposed to be running around in forest and not trying to get killed when you're carrying like 10-kilogram tent.
It holds water, even if it would be full of holes. It is warm in winter. It's understandably comfortable during the summer, and it can hold up quite a lot of people.
It's badly designed. It's like some kind of 1950s design, just like the radios that we use that also weigh like 10 kilograms, which you can get for 1 gram nowadays.
Your fucking attitudes are badly designed.
Well,
that should be starting bad-mouthing about the army here.
I can do that for an entire hour in this podcast. They need to update.
You have done it for an entire hour in this podcast.
Yeah, we had some army discussions in the past. But yeah, Kyrgyzstan sounds exactly like my place, like nomad life. Yeah.
But it has been this way. But now you see, I think it was important for the director to show the yurta after the death of the grandmother, because in these days probably people would use for that purpose, like either for goods, some kind of a celebration, or some kind of tourism for mountains. It's quite a mobile once you put it in pieces, but it's supposed to be your home, right? Like you would be in wintertime, in summertime, in all sorts of scenario, like 365. So
makes sense.
It was before, but I believe new design would be with solar power.
Maybe Finnish army should try yurts in the future instead.
All right.
Okay. So the father reveals to Beshkempir that he is indeed an orphan, to respect the grandmother's last will, and the father speaks in interesting ways. It sounds like Japanese to me sometimes, very softly spoken.
Your grandmother died, and then you just found out you're an orphan too.
Of course. There is the expiation between friends and family, so they reconnect because of a death. Death brings people together, sadly.
Yeah.
It sometimes happens, and at least for a moment, and they start bickering again.
Yeah. That actually is something that I was wondering about. Why do they actually reconcile at that point? Is it simply because of the grandmother's death, or is it partly because Beshkempir himself is voiding all the possible debts to his grandmother? Is the village kind of accepting Beshkempir now because Beshkempir voids the debts?
I don't think it is because of it's just a tradition. Just you're supposed to do that. That's it.
Yeah, I think seems like they are reconciling because all the other bickering that has happened during the film is so meaningless in comparison to what just happened. So more of it like that.
Okay, because I was kind of two ways about it, because while Beshkempir is giving that speech, or right after Beshkempir says that if you had any debts to my grandmother, they are now void. And right after that, there are these cuts to the villagers looking at Beshkempir and appearing sympathetic.
Yep.
That kind of was the moment that why I started to wonder if it was implying that Beshkempir now is being kind of accepted because he forgives the debts.
Oh, that makes sense. But I believe the people just embracing that the kid has become a grown-up.
Yeah. I felt at that moment when he said that he will void the debts of his grandmother is just the kind of a coming of age moment of Beshkempir.
Yeah.
Now they consider him an adult, and yeah.
It is, and even the film itself kind of makes that the definition, because if you go to the scene selection, you find out that the chapters are all being named. And the funeral scene where this happens, that actually is being named Passage to Adulthood.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, that's a good catch. I think that's exactly what it is.
What do you think, Baiaman? Is this what happens? Beshkempir becomes an adult?
Yes, I think he is in his low moment of life, and he experienced a lot of stuff. Like he needs to change. He needs to go on.
When they go with the coffin, there's a beautiful scenery in the background with the mountains, and there's a quite original fade to white, which becomes the mirror. We don't first know that we're looking from the mirror, and it feels kind of bizarre, but this director loves mirrors, I gotta say.
Yes.
Is there any significance in the fact that the girl points the reflected light on Beshkempir's face? Or is it just, a way to say, I choose you, or something?
Yeah, it's just a flirting, I think.
Yeah, that's the way I took it. Then Beshkempir borrows the bike from this charmer guy. He's playing with film in his kind of a personal studio. And Beshkempir removes the back rack once again.
Isn't he attaching it at this point?
Really?
No, he's taking it off. He saw the guy is doing it, right? So he learned his lesson. So he's from the get-go already coming.
Yeah, good catch. I missed that one.
Yeah.
Well done, guys.
He's a quick learner, right?
This is why we have guests in this episode, so that they can actually correct us when we are completely blowing smoke out of our asses.
Thank God for you guys.
Thank God for you guys.
Yeah. And the closing is basically when Beshkempir and Ainura bike away to Happy Land. And then there is the wedding. But is it possible for kids of their age to get married, or does this cut like 5 years later? What do you think?
It's impossible to have a wedding because we are too young.
Yeah, so the film skips again ahead in time. And this last shot is in color. It's a happy moment. And can you explain what is exactly this thread knot that they're making at the last shot? Is it actually, like Henrik said, like something that you put on your neck?
I don't know what exactly significance on the movie, but it could be it's about the life. It's just a game. It used to be an ancient game that you could play in certain way.
But so it's not something that you put on your neck? Or what are they doing?
No,
they're just playing a game.
Yeah, that is something that was also in Finland in the 90s.
But how does the chapter selection in the DVD, Henrik, say that this scene is? Or maybe there is no reference to that?
That scene also still belongs to the Passage to Adulthood chapter.
Yes.
The film is cut to only 6 chapters in the chapter selection.
The color, right, at the beginning scene, when the camera pans, like those are supposedly, right, like the, how do you call it? The lines in that material, supposedly it represent the life, right, going up and down, right? So I assume the ending scene would be the same thing. Like you have to figure out your way to play that game. I guess that's the adulthood, whatever.
But it's about getting married still.
I guess, right? Like because they're playing the game, right? Her and him.
Is that good enough indication of a marriage, though?
It's more of a what is to come.
It's not obvious, actually.
Okay, yeah.
It's something to think about, I guess, right? I don't know. Maybe he reveals. It's hard to tell.
Relationship getting warmer.
Okay, because there are some analyses about this film which make the mentioning that the closing shot of the film would be of an engagement ceremony. And that is where Maya and Karri is reading that it would be marriage comes from.
Oh, it could be. Could be. It could be. You could get close to. When the marriage happens, there is some kind of tradition. You put that material over, and then you go over that material. Your first night as a married couple, but I don't believe they are ready for that.
Okay, yeah. Once again, I mean, we can get like the basic building blocks of this film as a couple of Finnish guys, but to get much deeper into the whole film, it's great to have you guys here. That you have explained pretty much everything that this movie has to offer here, I believe.
My pleasure.
Yeah, in order to understand the nuances of the film, we once again need kind of a local guides to explain us those small details.
Mm-hmm.
Always makes the episode way more interesting. There is one more thing to go. This is what we call quick categories, which is where we go through like favorite this and favorite that things out of the film.
Mm-hmm.
So, favorite performance, Henrik?
As a surprise to absolutely no one, it would be Mirlan Abdykalykov as Beshkempir.
Yeah, same pick here.
Yeah, the guy who gets most screen time once again ends up being the favorite performer.
But all around, like, the performances look very good. What about Baiaman? Did you find your favorite performance?
I think in the whole movie, when you see in Kyrgyz language, it feels like a very natural, like the phrases, the words they use, they're very common and it feels real.
Was there like a favorite actor that you found?
Beshkempir, of course.
Yeah. What about Kenny?
All right, I agree with you all, but if I have to choose, right, like different guy would be the guy that is who fought the kid's best friend.
What's your favorite scene, Henrik?
To me, it's the first fight scene between Beshkempir and his best friend.
For me, it's the scene where Beshkempir rescues the bird from inside and lets it fly outside.
Why?
For me, this bird scene is just a nice show of kindness. Kind of like a slow moment of the film, which there are plenty. But I enjoyed the cinematography and the moment, so...
Yeah, I used to get into fistfights a couple of times as a kid, so I immediately recognized those wild windmill punches where you're just flailing your arms around trying to hit something and you have no idea whatsoever how to punch a person.
What about you guys? What about Kenny?
Probably the asking the Ainura out, right, at the end, for sure.
Yeah. What about Baiaman?
It's when Beshkempir plays game with other friends and he stares at Ainura a very long time. It was very good. Well played.
Henrik, do you have any favorite quotes?
I most definitely have. He's all black and blue. He's not your wife to beat up like that. God, if there ever was a sentiment.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I didn't actually pick up one, so I'm trying to think quickly of something.
You goddamn cheater.
Don't start with me just yet.
Like, I'm getting the nails and the hammer all ready to crucify you for this one.
Well, maybe Kenny has some idea of a favorite quote while I'm thinking about it.
I'm the same, man. I'm the same. It's hard to pick one, but as Baiaman said, every quote over there, it makes sense a lot, especially to us, right? Like a father when he's talking to his son at the funeral.
Okay, I'll just go with Ongu on. So this will he bring us good luck? Bring us luck.
Okay.
Because it's the most memorable line here.
Oh, at the beginning, yes. Tradition.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was just the first line that you actually found out when you started to quickly rewatching the film.
Yeah. Okay.
This quickie.
God damn it. I will send you a screenshot of my notes. It's actually in my notes, this quote, for this particular reason, so...
You are writing it there as we speak.
Oh, Henrik. See you in a dark alley after this podcast. What about Baiaman?
I don't have a special quote.
Yeah. So the next category is
go ahead, man. These are your categories. Like, you defined these in the Flickr template when it was built.
Yeah, this is kind of a macabre, but we started this podcast with horror films, so
yeah,
we have never dropped this particular category. So you can be a little bit creative at this moment. So Henrik will go first. Favorite kill?
Well, thank you, Karri. My favorite kill is the sand woman that gets stampeded by the cow. It's also the only confirmed real kill in this film, so feel free to pick something, Karri.
That's very creative, but okay, fine. I'm going to go with the broken heart of Beshkempir at the end.
But he gets the lady. God damn it.
Gets the lady, but loses grandmother. And there is no other kills here, so...
Yep. Well, very big.
Yeah.
Quite of an inventive, also. I have to give it to you, man.
And what about Kenny?
As you said, no one get killed, right? But I couldn't understand, actually, the character of that lady. The fat lady, naked, taking a bath.
What about Baiaman?
The kid with the eggs.
We have really creative kills here.
When he breaks all the eggs, he dies inside, like for a moment.
We have all the pros with us today.
Right. There you go.
Random confusing question moment of this podcast. Henrik, would you go with me to Kyrgyzstan right now?
I could go to Kyrgyzstan with you, I'm not completely sure. I'm still kind of hesitant, A, because of your mean comments towards the Finnish army, and B, because of that notion you made about a dark alley.
I can make it up to you, Henrik. You can take
you're going to insult the Finnish army in a dark alley?
You can put up your Finnish army tent in Kyrgyzstan and I will stay in a yurt. How about that?
It will be fun. I highly recommend.
Yeah.
I highly recommend the Finnish army tent.
Finnish army doesn't need it. Finnish army doing good. You guys have 5 millions. Who are you gonna go to war with?
That's right. That's a fair point.
The rest of the world, if need be.
You guys doing good. Like, make some cheese and everything else. The beer, you know.
How's the army of Kyrgyzstan, by the way? Like, is it mandatory, and is there an army?
There is an army. There is a mandatory after 18. I believe it's a year, right?
Yeah.
But if you go to school, you don't have to.
At all?
Yeah, if you go to school, you are 20-something, and then you go to work. If you're busy, then after 27, you don't have to.
Okay, because in Finland it's mandatory, and whatever you're doing at the age of 29, that's the last point when you really have to go. Unless, of course, you can get like so-called C or D papers, somehow invalid for army.
Yeah, unfit to serve.
Yeah.
Okay. How long is the serve?
6 months or 1 year. It depends if you're going to be in a leader position, then it's 1 year.
That's not bad.
Yeah. Okay, first image that comes to mind of this film. Henrik.
The kids playing in the mud pit.
For me, it's the scene where the kids meet up at the small wooden bridge and they start fighting once again.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's when women make carpet.
What about Kenny?
Yeah, for me also probably they're making a carpet.
And which image, in your opinion, best exemplifies this film? What's the most defining image of the film? Henrik.
To me, it's that one shot of the guy who is making the mud bricks.
For me, it's basically in the beginning when we see the Beshkempir as a kid in the orphan ceremony. Baiaman?
It's also when he plays with friends.
Kenny?
Most likely, again, it's I think it's that making a corporate is the perfect scene. I think that's all includes everything. I think if you know what it is, then you know how it comes out.
I'm surprised nobody picked the scene that is actually in the poster where Beshkempir is holding the bird in his hands.
That's crazy.
Well, what took you out of the adopted son, Henrik?
For me, kind of nothing.
Yeah, nothing in particular.
Yeah, because there is no moment where the film actually does anything wrong.
No.
You may not be the biggest fan of the slow pace, or you might not be the biggest fan of these very small drama films, which is often case with the independent foreign films. But there is no clear mistake that the film would ever make.
Of course, it's if you want to go technical here, which we sometimes love to do, there is this weird noise in the audio, so I could choose that one. But actually, when I started to watch the film, and after 5 minutes, I kind of forgot that it's there.
Okay, because I missed any weird noises. Can you kind of pinpoint it?
Right, I think it's the beginning, right?
It's throughout the film. There is like this background noise in the audio.
Oh, okay, yeah. I know what you mean. It's once again, I didn't pay that much eye to it because it's one of the staples of the neo-realism, which is what this film is aiming for. So it is intentional.
Yeah. Okay. Good catch. Well, what took you out, Baiaman?
It's just perfect. For me, it's perfect.
Kenny? Exactly. It's good.
It's hard to tell. It's slow pace. Actually, they try to not involve anything that would be not connected to the story, because there is so much not included during those times, right? Like Soviet Union influence, all that stuff is not included, doesn't show on no TV, nothing like that. Just shows just a little glimpse of it at the movie theater. Besides that, everything includes just the life is happening only in village. There's no outside influence. That could have been included, could have been not. So besides that, I think it is what it is.
Henrik, what pulled you in?
All those little glimpses of the village life.
The slow tempo, just seeing realistically how the life is happening. Kind of the laid-back structure, but it can also pull some people away. So, And what about Kenny?
I think it's the same way, but for me, it's the incredible curiosity of the kids, right? It's slow-paced, but you can see that kids are curious, right? Like they doing it what they seeing it, they doing it whilst whatever it represents. So I think that is actually representation of the like kids, because they don't know anything. They just play. If their parents say they are adopted, then they do the same thing. So
yeah, you mentioned that this is basically your story, that you come from a small village, and
I have done the exact same thing. I have
without the sex with the sand, right? Mind you.
Yes. Maybe I have done. Who knows, right?
Yeah,
no telling.
Never confess to anything.
No telling. No telling.
What about Baiaman? What pulled you in to this film?
Oh, I enjoyed this life, the houses, the people, how they speak with each other in Kyrgyz language, because modern Kyrgyz, they don't feel real. And I just enjoyed the talks.
Yeah. Guys, did this film match your expectations? That's kind of actually a funny question to pose to you, Kyrgyzstani guys, because you have seen it before. But Henrik, did this match with your expectations, if any?
I didn't have any expectations when I came to this film.
Yeah, kind of same here. What to expect when you know basically nothing about the country until 24 hours ago?
I will tell you the expectation I had, like watching yesterday, right? I remember when it came out, right? this director is very controversial, right? Like sometimes some scenes are not approved by the people. I do remember when this movie came out, it was also somehow controversial. People have said like the kids, they make it look dumb, very poor. Some scenes they were not agree. But after all of my experiences, I watch it again and I see it's purely mostly it was the director's life story.
What about Baiaman? Did you see this movie perhaps in a different light than you saw it as a kid?
Yes, it was a very strange movie when I see first, like kids just running around and doing nothing. And it was just crazy. Now I see that how it feels different and it feels very peaceful, like nice.
This is a section that we call Scissors of Sacrilege. So what would you change in the film if I would give you scissors or glue? Henrik?
I would leave it as it is.
Yeah, this is the kind of movie where you cannot really see anything that you would like to cut. I just leave it as it is. And what about Baiaman?
I agree with Henry, actually.
What about Kenny?
I would add for sure. I would add something that we could look forward to, especially like an adulthood, like running away, taking the girl out, and after that, what is he gonna do? Is he going to a movie like his that guy goes to sit in and learns his and then brings back the movie theater? Something similar. I don't know. I would definitely add something that would makes a Beshkempir makes a decision.
Yeah, there is kind of the bike ending, which is reflecting to something that happened earlier, so the same is repeating. But yeah, there could be like, going to the movies, repeating something that already happened now with the girl. That's a good point.
Yeah.
So, Henrik, ready and loaded?
Yep.
You really know you're watching The Adopted Son when...
You decorate your own walls with cow dung.
Good one.
Well, you really know you're watching The Adopted Son when you're just about to masturbate, but the goddamn bird interrupts it.
Happens every goddamn time.
Yeah. Baiaman, you really know you're watching The Adopted Son when...
When they fuck Sant girl.
I was about to pick the exact same one, but I was actually too much of a coward to take that route.
Kenny?
I couldn't come up better than Baiaman for sure.
We have really some expertise here tonight for this. Without any preparation, my hat goes off to you, gentlemen.
Are you saying we hired?
Yeah.
We expanding international now? Okay. Sign me up.
Sure thing. So 3 adjectives to describe the film, Henrik.
From my end, it is slow, because it is, that is the way how it is paced. Scantily colored, because of mostly black and white, and grounded.
Communal,
warm, loving. Baiaman.
Peaceful, real, and entertaining.
Kenny.
Yeah, it is definitely black and white.
Well, that's actually already 2. Black, white.
And white, yeah. And it's a little bit color.
Excellent. Watch test. Did you look at your watch during the film, Henrik?
Nope.
Nope. Enjoyed my time. Baiaman?
Yes, because you were waiting for me.
Oh, yeah, we were pushing you to start really early. So my hat goes once again for you guys for actually coming here on such a short notice. Amazing.
My pleasure.
Kenny, did you watch your watch?
No, I did not.
Yeah. Henrik, would you recommend Beshkempir, The Adopted Son?
I would give this one a recommendation. Like it has been said previously, here the West is going kind of crazy, and what all that craziness is mostly stemming from is from the lost respect. And in that regard, I, like said, the key to all that could most likely is just to be able to re-find that respect towards the other. And I think that as an international film, as a depiction of, once again, another nationality, another culture, Beshkempir can kind of help you to see the respect and to show respect towards others. And because of that, I do feel that this is kind of once again, it is important film. It's important to see other nationalities and see depictions of other cultures.
But if we take that out of the equation, would you still recommend it?
Yeah, I would. I do, of course, understand that these, like many of the foreign films, especially these independent dramas, which have this slow pace in them and don't offer this big dramatic arc, they may not be exactly for everyone.
True.
But
yeah.
I still feel that there is enough to find in Beshkempir that you should actually take the ride.
I enjoy the communal take here that we have. Of course, as mentioned, this film might be a little bit too traditional if you want to look like the fuller picture of what actually happens in Kyrgyzstan. So, but this is definitely kind of this romanticized life that you get in the countryside or the rural areas, and it's great to see what it's like. And apart from that, the story is solid. As noted, we can't even find any points that we would like to cut out or what would be the low point of the film. It's slow, but highly enjoyable for me. Baiaman?
As I said, for me it's like a very real, and I think like it's the way how my parents lived, grandparents, or maybe how parents lived. It's the time when they were kids, and
yeah,
I enjoyed the talks, I enjoyed atmosphere, and I would really recommend it.
Would Kenny recommend it?
Yes, for sure. As you said, the slow pace needed for people like here, right? Very fast. They're craving for that actually life. The slower pace, embracing what's going on, and take a look around. You don't need that a lot of stuff. You can get everything that life offers: love and caring and fight, if you will, right? Like challenges, all sorts. If you want to see a different approach from yours, then definitely this would be way to go, I think.
And we have talked with Henrik lately a little bit about how a very traditional structure in films happens. There has to be needs and wants, and I feel that is happening in this film, which makes the characters pretty strong. So the need, in my eyes, would be the need to reconcile with his family and friends, and the want is to, as a nice character development extra, is to get the lady at the end, and he does.
Mm-hmm.
I, on the other hand, I really didn't find the needs and wants that strongly in this film.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like there is of course, there's the reconciliation with the family, but that comes in quite late in the film. There is some distance between Beshkempir and his father, but even that doesn't come into a true fruition until at the end of the second act, or when Beshkempir leaves home. And I would say same goes with the want. There are scenes that depict that Beshkempir has some feelings for the woman, but the film never actually drives you home the point that Beshkempir really wants to have the girl. It's kind of most of it comes down to the small eyeing and stuff like that.
That's a good point. Actually, the whole girl infatuation is developed in the middle part of the film, and you don't really see it in the beginning.
I agree with you, yes, yeah.
That's The Adopted Son, guys. Anything to add at this point? Maybe Kenny has something that he wants to promote, or let our listeners know where you can be found, or some project that you're doing at the moment, perhaps?
It was fun, guys. It was great. It was a pleasure Like, I enjoyed it. I went back home. I went all my childhood. But I shoot weddings. Maybe if you need coming into New York or something, if you need a wedding filmmaker, hit me up.
Perfect. Do you have like a business Twitter handle or website for that you want to promote?
Go to vimeo.com/Kenny_Z.
Excellent. What about Baiaman? Do you have something that you want to let people know how to get in touch with you or your projects?
I don't have any out of work, actually.
Yeah, busy guy.
But it's kind of anonymous.
He wants to keep it on the low, right?
Yeah, that's good. Kind of like me, which doesn't make really sense because I'm running a film podcast. But I just...
You are full of contradictions.
I don't know.
Guys, I just deleted my Facebook account and trying to keep it on the down low and at the same time running this, so makes perfect sense.
Yes.
All right. Once again, thank you so much for joining us from around the world, Kenny and Baiaman. It's been truly a blast, and you've given so much background for the film and the culture. Would be great to catch up with you guys if we touch on another Kyrgyz movie at some point. Could be fun.
Yeah, next time just come through the country. We'll see it over there, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yes, it's not that far from Poland. Just take a plane, fly over.
And the capital would be where I would be flying, I guess.
Yeah, Bishkek, and then don't go to the city. You go to the actual, what the life is. What moves the Kyrgyzstan? What makes us, right? Like you can imagine, as I said, we are the guys that those kids grew up in.
Yeah.
And now we are in the different world, but that's the characters are doing the exact same thing as we're doing as Baiaman or me.
Amazing.
Yep.
And when it comes to our next film of the next week, we're going to look at, I suppose, Shenmue, the movie. Is Henrik ready and packed for this one?
I just don't want to. I just...
Well, that's the professionalism that you get here.
Well, it's more professionalism that goes on behind making Shenmue 3.
That's basically the only reason that I'm going to buy PlayStation 4, Henrik, so don't start with me. Alright, thank you again. I think it's getting very late in Siberia and in Finland soon as well, and I believe Kenny has some stuff to do still today, so thanks so much for you guys, and
thank you too.
My pleasure.
Hope to see you later outside.
Sounds good. Great.
Yeah, the best of luck to both of you, and thank you for helping us out today.
My pleasure.
All the best for your futures.
Best of luck.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.